Hey, BookBlink fam! Welcome back to another book summary. Today, we're diving into The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. This book takes us on a journey beyond ourselves, exploring our inner thoughts and emotions. We'll break down 10 key points from this soul-searching read. Let's get started. Point 1. The voice inside your head. First up, let's talk about that constant chatter in our heads. You know, that inner voice that never seems to shut up. Michael A. Singer explains how this voice isn't who we truly are. It's just a part of our mind trying to make sense of everything. Imagine it as a roommate who's always commenting on everything, good or bad. This voice is constantly narrating your life, analyzing, judging, and often causing unnecessary stress. The key here is to recognize that this voice is not your true self. It's just a part of your mental processes. By becoming aware of this voice and learning to observe it without getting caught up in its chatter, you can start to separate your true self from the noise. This awareness is the first step towards inner freedom. When you hear that voice, just acknowledge it and let it pass. Don't engage or argue with it. For example, when you're feeling anxious about a presentation, that voice might be saying, "What if you mess up? What if they don't like it?" Instead of getting swept away by these thoughts, recognize them for what they are, just thoughts. They don't define you or the outcome of your presentation. This practice can drastically reduce your anxiety and help you stay focused. Point 2. Letting go of your personal melodrama. Next, Singer encourages us to let go of our personal melodrama. We all have these elaborate stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what's happening in our lives. These stories often revolve around our ego and can trap us in a cycle of suffering. By stepping back and seeing these dramas for what they are, just stories, we can begin to find peace. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself reliving a past argument or imagining a future confrontation? These mental dramas consume a lot of our energy. Singer suggests that instead of engaging with these stories, we should just observe them. Notice how they arise and pass away. By doing this, we can start to detach from these melodramas and see them as mere creations of the mind. For instance, if you find yourself obsessing over a mistake you made at work, acknowledge the story you're telling yourself. Maybe it's something like, "I'm always messing up. I'll never get ahead." Recognize that this is just a story. It's not the ultimate truth. By stepping back and seeing it for what it is, you can let it go and focus on what's actually happening in the present moment. Point 3. The art of letting go. Singer introduces the concept of letting go. This means not clinging to our thoughts and emotions. When something bothers you, don't hold on to it. Instead, let it pass through you. This practice can transform your relationship with pain and discomfort. Imagine your emotions and thoughts as clouds in the sky. They come and go, constantly changing. The problem arises when we latch onto these clouds, trying to hold onto them or push them away. This attachment creates suffering. Instead, Singer suggests that we should just let these clouds pass by. Observe them without attachment. For example, when you feel angry, don't try to suppress it or hold onto it. Just notice the anger, feel it in your body, and let it pass. By doing this, you'll find that the emotion dissipates more quickly and doesn't have the same hold over you. This doesn't mean you ignore your emotions. It means you acknowledge them without letting them control you. Point 4. Living in the present moment. Another big takeaway is the importance of living in the present moment. We often spend too much time worrying about the past or the future. Singer reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have. Embracing this can bring clarity and joy to our lives. How often do you find yourself replaying past events or worrying about what's to come? This constant mental time travel takes us away from the only moment we have, the now. Singer emphasizes that by focusing on the present moment, we can find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. One way to practice this is through mindfulness. When you're eating, just eat. Notice the flavors, the textures, the act of chewing. When you're walking, just walk, feel your feet on the ground, the movement of your body, the air on your skin. By bringing your attention to what you're doing right now, you can fully experience life and reduce stress. Point 5. The path to inner freedom. Singer outlines a path to inner freedom. This involves recognizing that we are not our thoughts or emotions. By observing them without attachment, we can experience a sense of liberation. It's about finding that place within us that remains calm and centered, no matter what's happening outside. Inner freedom comes from understanding that you are the observer of your thoughts and emotions, not the thoughts and emotions themselves. This realization can be incredibly liberating. When you identify with the observer, you create a space between you and your experiences. This space allows you to respond to life with greater clarity and wisdom. For instance, when faced with a stressful situation, instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back. Observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you respond from a place of calm and clarity. Over time, this practice can lead to a deep sense of inner freedom. Point 6. The energy flow within. The book also delves into the flow of energy within us. Singer describes how our heart is a center of energy, and negative experiences can block this flow. By letting go and opening our hearts, we allow this energy to move freely, leading to a more vibrant life. Our hearts are like energy centers, constantly in flux. When we experience negative emotions, it can feel like our heart is closing off, blocking the natural flow of energy. This blockage can lead to feelings of heaviness and stress. By letting go of these negative emotions and allowing our hearts to remain open, we can restore this natural flow. For example, when you feel hurt by someone's words, instead of closing off and harboring resentment, practice letting go. Feel the emotion, but don't hold on to it. Visualize your heart opening up, allowing the energy to flow freely again. This can lead to a greater sense of vitality and well-being. Point 7. Transcending the self. Singer encourages us to transcend our sense of self. This doesn't mean ignoring who we are, but rather understanding that our true essence goes beyond our personal identity. By connecting with this deeper sense of self, we find a profound sense of peace. Transcending the self involves seeing beyond the ego, the part of us that is constantly defining and defending our identity. Our true self is not our name, our job, or our roles. It's something much deeper. By connecting with this deeper self, we can experience a sense of peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Meditation and self-inquiry are powerful tools for this. By sitting in stillness and asking questions like, "Who am I?" or "What is this sense of being?" we can begin to peel back the layers of our ego and connect with our true essence. This practice can bring about a profound shift in how we see ourselves and the world. Point 8. Facing your fears. Facing our fears is another crucial point. Singer advises us to confront our fears rather than avoid them. When we do this, we often find that they lose their power over us. This courage to face fear can lead to immense personal growth. Fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. Singer suggests that by facing our fears head-on, we can diminish their power. This doesn't mean recklessly diving into dangerous situations, but rather, acknowledging our fears and taking steps to confront them. For instance, if you have a fear of public speaking, rather than avoiding it, start small. Speak in front of a mirror, then in front of a friend, and gradually increase your audience. Each time you face your fear, you'll find that it becomes less intimidating. This practice not only helps you overcome specific fears but also builds overall resilience and confidence. Point 9. Experiencing unconditional happiness. Singer talks about unconditional happiness. This means being happy regardless of external circumstances. It's about cultivating an inner state of joy that isn't dependent on what's happening around us. This kind of happiness comes from within. Unconditional happiness is about finding a sense of joy that isn't tied to external events. It's about realizing that true happiness comes from within, not from our circumstances. This inner joy can be cultivated through practices like gratitude, mindfulness, and letting go of attachments. Start by finding joy in the simple things. Appreciate the beauty of a sunset, the warmth of a smile, or the taste of your favorite food. By focusing on these small moments of joy, you can start to build a reservoir of happiness that isn't dependent on external factors. Over time, this practice can help you maintain a sense of joy and contentment, no matter what life throws at you. Point 10. The liberation of letting go. Finally, Singer emphasizes the ultimate liberation that comes from letting go. When we release our attachments, we free ourselves from the burdens that weigh us down. This is the essence of untethering the soul and living a life of freedom and peace. Letting go is a powerful act of liberation. It means releasing our attachments to outcomes, people, and things that we believe we need to be happy. This doesn't mean we don't care about anything, but rather, we don't let our happiness depend on these external factors. For example, if you're attached to the idea of getting a promotion, your happiness is tied to that outcome. If it doesn't happen, you're disappointed. But if you let go of that attachment, you can find joy and fulfillment in your work regardless of the outcome. This doesn't mean you stop striving for your goals, but you don't let your sense of happiness and self-worth depend on them. By practicing letting go, we can experience a profound sense of freedom and peace. We realize that we don't need to cling to anything to be happy. Our true happiness comes from within. So there you have it, folks. 10 powerful insights from The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. This book offers profound wisdom on finding inner peace and living a more meaningful life. Like this summary? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BookBlink. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next video and happy reading.